On March 22nd, 2026, at New York's LaGuardia Airport, there was a crash of an Air Canada Express CRJ 900 with a fire truck. Luckily, all the passengers are okay, but we lost both the pilot and the co-pilot. And so here comes the NTSB to tell us what went wrong. And even a lady passenger aboard there took some video right as they escaped from the airplane after the crash. So there's the scene right there. And look at the mess that it left all over the airport, and it was closed for most of the next day. Okay, so today we're going to analyze the audio, the video, and the photographs. And we're going to try to come up with a root cause here and piece this whole thing together to figure out how did this complex Swiss cheese model get all of those holes to align up like this to allow this plane to crash into that fire engine? And who was at fault? The accident was captured on security camera, and here it is being shown to somebody on a laptop. There's the plane coming in from the left, there's the fire engine, and there's the collision between the two right there. And here I slowed it down for you, 5x, and zoomed in a little bit. Now look at the plane, look where the fire engine is. And it looks like the fire engine is sort of trying to slow down right here at this point, but I think it's too late and he's too close and he's right in the path of the plane. And it almost looked like the plane tried to veer just a teeny bit to the right, but just didn't get out of the way in time. Now I'm going to set the scene here for you to help us determine what exactly happened at LaGuardia Airport here to this Air Canada Express plane that ended up putting us in this position right here. What led to this type of an accident? Okay, so this is LaGuardia Airport. This is runway 4 right here like this. And then this right here is runway 13. And so 20 minutes before the crash, you had United Airlines flight 2384 over here on the east side of the airport. It had made it its second attempt to try to take off. And it was an aborted attempt as they were coming down this way because they were smelling smoke in the cabin. And apparently some people were getting nauseous from it. So they pulled off and they were waiting right here and they requested help from the fire trucks. I believe one fire truck had already arrived on scene. And then the other fire truck way back over here, this is where the fire station is back here. This fire truck number 1 over here. And Air Canada Express Flight 8646 is the plane that crashed. It was coming in for a landing here. So fire truck number 1 had asked for permission to cross over the runway, and the air traffic controller gave him permission to do so. And then I guess at the last second, he realized, hey, this is wrong. And he said, truck 1, stop, 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 stop. And so what happened was that's where they collided right there. The intended path of this truck was it was supposed to drive here and come along around this curve and probably right down here to meet up with the United Airlines flight 2384. Now here is the flight radar 24 animation of flight 8646 as it's coming in for a landing. There it is right there. And then boom, crashed into the fire truck right after it landed on the airport runway going at about 105 miles an hour at impact. And that's pretty much it. It's not going to give you a whole lot of information there. Okay. So here's a close-up shot that was taken probably not long after the crash last night. And as you can see, this is the front of the plane. The cockpit is completely destroyed and disintegrated and shredded up into bits. This is the cockpit right here, what's left of it. And this right here is probably part of that's where the flight attendants hang out. And I believe this might be the door on the side of the plane right here. And here's another view from this morning. You can see how the entire cockpit section right here was just dangling from the plane. And so this is, I believe, where the door was. And what they said on the news was that, there was a flight attendant that was strapped in to her jump seat back over here, probably right inside the galley, like you normally see them during flights when you take off. And they said they found her outside the plane, still strapped to her seat, and she was okay. Now, they said non-life-threatening injury. She probably was injured. And I would guess that she probably landed on the grass. And here's a more wide-out view. The fire engine ended up actually back over here off to the left. And we'll show you in the next photograph. So in a more zoomed out view, here's where the fire truck ended up back over here. And so it was pretty much destroyed too, sliced in half. It almost looked like the plane drove partly over it. And some of this yellow here might be part of the truck. We don't know. And of course, without the rear landing gear, the nose is going to go up in its final resting place here at the crash site. And the reason why you were able to get this almost picture-perfect view of the crash site is the media was stationed inside the garage, and you can see the camera here is panning around to show what the scene looks like in there, how they're all just kind of crammed inside there, trying to get their views of the crash site to broadcast out onto the news. Now, let's take a look at the air traffic controller audio that we have, because this gives us quite a few clues as to what was really happening down there on that runway.
Who's the vehicle needed to cross the runway?
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower.
Truck 1 and Company.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, 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 truck 1, stop, stop, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
Now, Jazz 646 is the call sign for the Air Canada Express Flight 8646. That's what you'll see on the map here.
Jazz 646. Jazz 646, I see you collide with a vehicle there, just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now.
Is the runway closed?
Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
Heading 2000, go around, Delta 2603.
LaGuardia Tower.
Truck 32, runway 4 is closed, correct?
Yes, go on to runway 4 now. Proceed on runway 4, you have access. Frontier 4195, just stop there, please. Stop, 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 truck 1, stop, stop, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000. Jazz 646. Jazz 646, I see you collide with a vehicle there, just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now. Vehicle 98.
Vehicle 98, please show at this time. Runway 422 is closed.
Frontier 4195, I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want prepared to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
Oh, did you hear that? He said he messed up. Wow, that's some pretty ominous stuff there. Now, when he was saying I was trying to reach out to my staff and we were working on an emergency earlier, he was referring to that United Airlines flight 2834 that I told you about earlier. This is the one that had that aborted takeoff because of the smoke in the cabin. So it was sitting on the other side of the airport waiting for the fire trucks to get over there. But then if you listen very carefully to what else he said there, remember he said, I messed up.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
So the air traffic controller himself here is telling somebody else here, hey, I messed up. Now, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here, because it may not be a simple matter of the air traffic controller messed up. Could there have been somebody else that made a mistake? He was actively talking to the truck and saying, stop, 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 stop.
Stop, 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 truck 1, stop, stop, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
So why didn't the truck stop when he immediately told him to stop? There also might have been a problem with the radio equipment too. We simply don't know, but that will all come out in the investigation from the NTSB. So just because the air traffic controller himself says, I screwed up, does not mean that he screwed up. It could mean that he did screw up, but sometimes something can happen and the traffic controller can blame themselves and feel kind of guilty about it. But once the NTSB completes their analysis of this and looks at all the timestamps and everything, I think they'll be able to tell pretty quickly what the root cause is. And there's already been some chatter on the news from different aviation experts about how overloaded was this guy. I mean, look, they were all focused on dealing with this emergency over on the other side of the airport. And even though he was sort of focused at the time at this fire truck that wanted permission to cross over runway 4, but how focused was he over there? Because he's dealing with this guy that wants permission over here. He's dealing with the other airplane over there. And we don't know if he's the one that gave permission to the Air Canada Express plane to come in and land. But, again, this is that whole Swiss cheese model that always comes into play. Like if just one of these things hadn't happened, if that other plane hadn't aborted their takeoff, this entire scenario would never have played out. It's just, oh. And then, of course, now the pilot and co-pilot of the Air Canada plane are unfortunately have passed. So, one of the things I was wondering here is, were there stop bar lights in place? So there's supposed to be an automated system on these taxiways in the airports so that planes coming in different directions won't have an incursion, because these stop bar lights are supposed to automatically trigger and warn them. I mean, that could be a pretty good fail-safe, don't you think? And so obviously they're going to be looking into that. The NTSB will be looking into the human factor side, because really, how do we tell if a mistake was made either by the air traffic controller or the pilots of the plane or from the fire truck? So they'll have to really get their hands around all of this data and study the human factors here. And this debate comes up every time there's a crash. Were the air traffic controllers overworked? Were they tired? Or was it just a good old-fashioned mistake? Or maybe when the air traffic controller was telling the truck driver there to stop, it's possible there was interference and he didn't get the message. Just like if you saw my other video on the DCA plane crash, remember, with the CRJ jet with the Black Hawk helicopter? Right at the exact moment that the air traffic controller there was telling the Black Hawk helicopter to circle around behind the CRJ, that's when they got interference on their channel, so they never got the command. So who knows? The NTSB will let us know. And make sure you check out these other two videos here. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see all of you on the next one.